Hi everyone, welcome to Multisensory Monday. I hope you all had a fantastic Halloween. It's actually Halloween as I am filming this, which is the reason that I'm dressed as a die. I don't usually go around wearing a box, but for you guys, anything. Now, I have a game for you today called Out of the Bag, which is a word building game that you can really easily adjust for whatever level your students are at. And you'll just need some very simple things to get started. First of all, you'll need to make some letter tiles, and we'll talk about the different letter tiles you might want to make. I just cut out strips of paper and used a black marker to write mine. But if you have letter tiles or maybe extra Scrabble pieces, go ahead and use those. You'll also need a bag or a hat or a box, something that we're going to put the letter tiles in to draw out of. If you've got just some extra lunch bags hanging around, it's really quick and easy. You'll also need each student to have a game board. Now I will put the link for this below, but really, I would encourage you, go ahead and use whiteboards or use scrap sheets of paper. You don't need to print out something. You can have students simply draw lines on a whiteboard or on extra paper, and then there's no waste and you don't have to worry about making copies. So these boards that I put together have 3 lines, 4 lines, and 5 lines. The students are going to be drawing letters out of the bag, and they're going to try and build words on all the lines that you give them. So if I'm working with very young students, I might only give them a couple of lines of 3 letters. Whereas if I'm working with more advanced students, I might give them the option of the 4 and the 5 lines so that they can end up making bigger words. You can start out by putting all of your letters in the bag. Now for this first example, you'll notice that I filled in some vowel sounds that I want the students to use. And in that case, in my bag, I would just be putting some of the basic consonant sounds. So the letters in my bag for a game board like this might look something like. Now, each student is going to take a turn drawing a letter out of the bag and putting it in one of the open spaces on their game board. And they'll alternate around. The object is to be the first player to get all of your letter tiles filled in, making real words. So when they get towards the end and they're noticing that some of their letters are making nonsense words, instead of drawing a letter, they can choose to take a turn and swap letters that are already on their board around, because it's whoever gets all their real words down first is the one who wins. Now, I mentioned that using a game board like this, I would start off just using those basic consonant sounds. But if I was working with a little bit of a more advanced student, a student in layer 2 of Phonics First Foundations, I might choose to include some blends, in which case my letter tiles could look like this. So what you saw there were 2 different options. You can either put the blends on one tile, or you can go ahead and put each letter on a separate tile so that the students will have to draw out both of the letters that they need. For even more advanced students, in addition to including blends, you might want to go ahead and fill in your game boards focusing on the vowel teams or different vowel pairs. So this is the kind of game board I might be looking at if I had a student in layer 3 of Phonics First Foundation. And as an extra challenge, you can just have the students use blank lines. In that case, you're going to need to not only have consonants in your bag, but different vowels. And here are some examples of the different vowel patterns that you might want to include. This option is going to be the most challenging because the students will have to decide where they want to put those consonants and where they want to put those vowels. But this game is so easy to put together that it's something that you can use with all the different groups that you're working with. This could be easily used in a tutoring situation with just one-on-one as a student, or students can play this on their own if they have extra time. It can also be a great group game. Use this as a center activity in your classroom. You could probably have up to 4 players going at the same time. Any more than that, and you might need a few too many letters to put in the bag, but go ahead, split the kids into groups of 4, and this is something they can be doing independently, maybe while you're working with your other Phonics First group in your classroom. I hope you guys enjoy this activity. Please comment below and let me know what you think of the blog, and if you've tried out any of the activities, how did they go in your classrooms?